What's up, guys? Welcome to the Stats Free Sports channel. Here today to bring you a video discussing the rumor of Kliff Kingsbury reportedly meeting with the Pittsburgh Steelers sometime soon for their OC position. Let's talk about it. This comes from NBC's Peter King, which should be a great reliable source. He says today that Kliff Kingsbury has a meeting set up with the Steelers. I'm not sure when. There's no date on it, but it is, or I guess should be coming soon. The only other person I've seen or heard of having an interview with the Steelers for their OC job is Zach Robinson, who's a passing game coordinator for the Rams. But in my personal opinion, the Steelers should not and cannot cannot let Kliff Kingsbury leave the building without being their new OC. I think he's the perfect man for the job. He's one of our modern day, younger quarterback whispers. He has his connections and his tentacles connected to a bunch of great quarterbacks during today's time. So I think having him with Kenny Pickett, who is set to be the starting quarterback for the Steelers, which I've said on this channel, I'm not really a fan of, but it is what it is. So you're going to have to find a way to make him be the best that he can be, maximize his capabilities. I think Kliff Kingsbury is a man for the job. Now I'm going to give you a quick rundown of my relationship with the Steelers. Like I said before on this channel, I'm not a Steelers fan. I'm a Falcons fan, but I don't like to pigeonhole myself into just one team. I like to cover everybody and anything that I find interesting. And, so far, the 2023-2024 season, I covered the Steelers probably about 5-6 solo videos from the draft until now. I've done during last offseason, I did a video on the top 5 head coaches that's on the hot seat. Tomlin was on that list for me personally. But on some good news, on the positive front, I did 2 positive videos on the Steelers during the preseason. Well, 3. I did one prior to the draft. One post-draft, and I did a draft rankings video, kind of like a live stream. I did it on StreamYard. I rated the Steelers draft as a B+. I love that draft, one of the best drafts to me in my opinion. Last year's draft, I love Benton, I love Joy Porter Jr. I think out of their 4 or 5 picks, 6 picks that they had, I like all of them except for one. But I love the Benton pick, the de-facto. I love that move a whole lot. He's one of my favorite players in last year's draft. Then go to the preseason. I did a video on Jaylen Warren. He stood out to me in the preseason. I even did a solo video on him saying he should be RB1 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, or have a lot more playing time instead of Najee Harris. I think he brings you better explosiveness, better athleticism, and a different look than Najee Harris does. Who's a bigger back, slower back, who's stronger as well, though. So I thought he would have been a great fit, and he did get more playing time as the year actually went on. So it was great there. Then the final positive video I did on the Steelers was during the preseason, and that was on Kenny Pickett. I thought he looked impressive. I thought he looked good. The timing, the accuracy, the control over the game, over the offense, he looked great. But then you fast forward to the actual season, and Kenny Pickett went back to how he was last year, which was the 2022, his rookie season. He didn't look good. No control over the offense. Accuracy was shoddy. It didn't look, all too well. But I will say, even though the OC back then ended up getting fired later on during the season, it wasn't all on him. Kenny Pickett hasn't really given him much to work with either, and we've seen that even post him being fired. But I think, as I said before, Pickett isn't the guy for the job. The Steelers have yet to realize that, or at least yet to make a move on that. So if you're going to keep him, you have to maximize his potential. And I think Kliff Kingsbury is the guy for the job. As we know, his head coaching history in college and in the pros isn't the greatest, but that shouldn't slow Steelers fans down on wanting him. He's a great offensive mind, great play calling, and like I said before in the intro, he's been tied to a lot of great quarterbacks during this day and time during this era. So I will really love him and his kind of air raid spread attack. He's kind of modified his air raid system a little bit last time we've seen it, and it looked pretty good. And I still think keeping Najee Harris and Jalen Warren, I think they could be effective in that system. And I would say, if you need an example of that, go back to James Conner in the 2021 season. He was kind of in the same system, and he looked pretty good back in Arizona in 2021 under Kliff Kingsbury. He had a great season that year, actually. So in that spread style offense, I think Kenny Pickett, it would give him a lot of check downs, but in that air raid system, it'll give him a lot of shallow crossing. So it'll be check downs, but it'll be check downs that will get, if you place the ball in a good window, it could give a lot of those check down opportunities to get more yards. So even if Kenny Pickett doesn't want to push the ball down the field, you will have more opportunities to get yards after catch and stuff like that. Break a tackle and make one or two man miss, you can get some extra yardage. So if that's the case, if Pickett doesn't want to bomb the ball and go deep with Pickens every time, you can definitely, or Calvin Austin, you can definitely dink and dunk and still have opportunity for some extra yardage. But the only thing that would give me cause of pause on Kliff Kingsbury isn't him, but it's actually the Steelers. And that's the way that their roster is currently set up. If you're going to get Kliff Kingsbury and run that air raid style and run that modified air raid style, that spread offense, you're going to have a lot of receivers. And right now, they only have about 4 under contract. They're going to be a lot more. But you look at their cap space, not a lot of cap space, and you look at what they need. They need more linemen. They need more cornerbacks. They need more DBs. They need more linebackers. They need more everything. So it's kind of like you can't put so much into your wide receiver room because you need some everywhere else as well. And not even doing the free agency, but doing draft as well. They only have 5 first round. Excuse me, not 5 first round picks. They have, I believe, 5 picks. 2 fourth rounders, first and second, something like that. Let me make sure. Excuse me. So they own 7. Sorry, I apologize. They have 7 first round picks, 7 picks in total, and they have. Let me see. Have it written down right here. 7 picks, a couple of day 2 picks, and I believe a couple of a couple of round 4 picks, no 5th round picks because of the Kevin Dotson trade. So, that's not bad, but I would think, at least the first round pick goes to either corner or goes to a lineman. Tackle, center, you want to reach for a center. That high is kind of, you can definitely get the best center in the draft probably round 2. So I would probably say corner goes the first round pick. And then round 2, if you want to go receiver, there are definitely good options. I like Xavier Worthy, who's a good playmaker from Texas. I like North Carolina's Javonte Walker, who I'm going to do a video on later on this offseason. And he's one of my favorite guys I really want teams to target during the draft because he's to me, he's like a young, smaller DK Metcalf. Big receiver, 6'3", got some weight on him, flies down the field. I really like him a lot. So if they can get one of those 2 guys, or even both, some ways, somehow, some guys drop. The receiving class is always deep, so you can find talent 4th round, 5th round. So 4th round with 2 4th round picks. But so that's probably their best spot to find a game-changing receiver in that round 2 area there. Then round 3, double back to the either corner again or safety or whatever. So they need help everywhere. They need youth everywhere. There should be a major youth movement coming to Pittsburgh the next couple years. And we've seen that. We've seen that coming. Also down the pipeline, Hayward, the defensive tackle, will he be cut and waived to save cap? We'll see. He's 35 years old, making a lot of money. So if no pay cut comes or if no restructuring of the contract comes, there could be a time, or even this season, where we see him get cut. You got to replace that production somehow. Benson can't do it by himself. So you're going to have to bring in either a rookie or a veteran. It's going to cost a nice chunk of change to replace someone. A couple guys probably can replace his value and his production. So, like I said, all the money, all the cap space can't go to wide receiver. So that's the only thing that's kind of downing me or kind of giving me negative vibes on getting Kliff Kingsbury as far as his fit. No, it sounds good to me, but you got to have the receivers to run their air raid spread offense. And right now they don't have it, and they don't have the requisite cap space to add good quality guys as of right now, unless they make some good cuts or some hard free agency moves. So we'll see how everything shakes out. Kliff Kingsbury did interview with the Bears. The OC job went to the Seahawks old OC. Forgot his name right now. But I think that's a great move there. But you can always bring in Kliff as a head, as a quarterback coach or a passing game coordinator or something to be around Caleb, just to give him a familiar face if they do go with Caleb Williams. So I don't think hiring the Seahawks old OC really gives a look at who they're going to draft, but obviously everyone's pointing to Caleb Williams. And like I said, if you want to bring a familiar face with him, Kliff Kingsbury coming there as the QB coach or something makes sense. And then after a year or two, he moves on and goes somewhere else. I guess best case scenario. But that's it for video, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys next time.